Am I the asshole for leaving a gift at my sister's wedding that I wasn't invited to, knowing what was inside it would change everything?
Welcome to Book on Rabbit Day Story. Today's story is a total power move. Imagine your sister bans you from her massive 400-guest wedding, only to unknowingly hire your studio for $15,000 to photograph it. So she leaves a subscribe gift that filled the entire reception. Let's get in.
I'm at the airport right now waiting for my flight back to LA, and my phone won't stop vibrating, and I need to write this down before I land and have to deal with any of it. Let me start from the beginning. I'm 28. I'm a photographer. I run a studio in Los Angeles called Everlight Studios, and I have built it from nothing over the last 6 years into something I'm genuinely proud of. My family in Boston has no idea how well things are going because my family in Boston has not been particularly interested in how things are going for me since approximately ever growing up. My sister was the one who mattered. I don't say that bitterly. It's just the accurate description of how our household worked. She was praised. She was planned for. Every family decision oriented around her comfort and her future. I was there too. Somewhere in the background, I knew from pretty early on that I wanted to make photographs. My family was not enthusiastic about this. My dad called it a phase. My mom said I needed a real career to fall back on. My sister said nothing because she didn't really think about me enough to have an opinion. I was 10 years old when my parents forgot my birthday. Not in a distracted, apologized the next day way. Just forgot. I sat with it all day and nothing happened, and at 6 p.m. my grandma showed up at the door with a small wrapped box and a cake she had made herself. Inside the box was a camera. Old, second-hand, a little dinged up. She had found it at an estate sale. She said she had noticed the way I looked at things and she thought I might want to try catching them. That camera is on a shelf in my studio right now. It is the most important object I own that my sister is getting married today or was. I'm not entirely sure what is happening at that venue right now. She has been engaged for a year. The wedding has 400 guests. It is being held at a historic estate outside Boston, and it has clearly cost an enormous amount of money. I found out about it the same way I find out most things about my family, social media. 3 weeks before the event, when photos from the engagement party started appearing with captions mentioning the upcoming celebration, I had been told by my mom months ago that my sister was planning a small, intimate gathering and that it would probably just be immediate. Family and close friends, and that I shouldn't worry about flying out. I had believed her when I saw the venue photos. I called my mom and asked what was happening. She was quiet for a moment and then told me that my sister had concerns about the guest list and felt that having me there might create a difficult atmosphere. She said she hoped I understood. I said I understood. I hung up. I thought about it for a few days. That here is the thing my family does not know. About 4 months ago, I received a call from a wedding planning company inquiring about availability for a date in early spree. And they were representing a client in Boston who had seen our portfolio and was interested in booking Everlight Studios for full-day wedding coverage. The package they were interested in was $15,000. I assigned the booking to my lead associate and did not look at the client name. Closely that last week, one of my team members flagged the file and asked if I had seen who the client was. I looked at the contract and it was my sister. She had hired my company under my business name to photograph her wedding. She did not know I owned it because I have always worked under a studio name in LA and my family has never asked enough questions about my work to find out the details. I thought about what to do with that information for about a week then. I thought about something else, that my grandma passed away last year. In the months before she died, she called me to talk. Long calls, more honest than most conversations we'd had. She told me she had changed her will. She told me she was leaving me her jewelry collection. She said she had watched my sister treat beautiful things as currency, and she had watched me treat a dented second-hand camera like it was made of light. And she had made her decision accordingly. The collection is worth approximately $2.3 million. My sister had been telling her fiance's family for months that she would be inheriting it, so my grandma asked me to handle the disclosure carefully. I told her I would. I thought about it for a long time. Then I made a plan. I flew to Boston this morning. I did not call ahead. I went to the venue, placed a small silver box on the gift table, and left. Inside the box was a copy of my grandma's will, a letter she had written explaining her decision, and a copy of Everlight Studios' business registration showing my name as owner and founder. I did not go inside. I did not see my family. I went back to the airport, and I have been sitting here for 2 hours watching my phone light up. Am I the asshole? I want to know if what I did was wrong. Not legally. I know the answer to that. But whether I should have handled it differently. Whether I owed my sister a private conversation before this. Whether what I did was something a reasonable person does, or something I will regret that my phone just rang. It was my mom. I didn't answer till long. Didn't read. My sister banned me from her 400-person wedding, telling me it was a small gathering. She unknowingly hired my company for $15,000 to photograph it. My grandma left me her $2.3 million jewelry collection instead of my sister, who had been promising it to her in-laws. I flew to Boston, left a silver box at the gift table containing the will and my company's registration, and left. Currently at the airport. The phone is exploding. Am I the asshole? Edit. I just got a voicemail from a number I don't recognize. I'm not listening to it until I land out at it too. Boarding now. We'll update when I'm home.
Oh my gosh, the absolute nerve of this family. They told Obi not to come because it was a small gathering, but it was actually a huge, expensive wedding. But come on words in the most beautiful ways. The sister unknowingly hired Obi's premium LA studios to shoot. How big's it? I remember that $2.3 million jewelry collection her sister been rapping about to her new in-laws. Yeah, the grandma left it all to OP. Oppie just dropped a silver box in the gift table with the will and her business license, and she's already boarding a fly back to LA. Is she a savage? Shrugs of core guys because of this one, a poor cows.
Update 1. The next day okay. Here's what I know happened that my sister opened the box at the reception during the gift portion of the evening. In front of approximately 400 people, including her new husband's entire family. I know this because 3 different people who were there have since reached out to me. 2 of whom I barely know, because apparently what happened was significant enough that word traveled quickly. She read the will. Or started to. She got to the part about the jewelry, the specific language about the collection and its value and the reason my grandma had made her decision, and she screamed. Not a gasp, a scream. In the middle of the reception. Then someone, I think one of the guests, pointed out the second document in the box. The Everlight Studios registration. Someone connected it to the photographers who had been working the event all day, so her husband went very still. I was told he stepped outside with his best man for about 20 minutes. When he came back, he told my sister they needed to talk privately. The reception continued without them for a while, and then it didn't continue at all. The honeymoon, which was supposed to start the next morning, has been postponed. I don't know what is being said between them. That is not my situation to manage, as my mom called 11 times between the moment I landed and the moment I turned my phone off at midnight. My dad called twice. My sister called once. Which surprised me. I didn't answer any of them. I turned everything off, made dinner, and went to sleep. But this morning I turned my phone back on and found a voicemail from my mom that was mostly crying with some words in it. The words I could make out were, I didn't know and I'm so sorry and please. Then I got a text from her saying she had booked a flight to L.A. She showed up at my studio this afternoon, that she had not called ahead. She was sitting in the lobby when I arrived, in the same coat she wears to important things. And she had clearly been crying recently. I asked my assistant to give us the room that my mom looked at the studio for a moment, the prints on the wall, the equipment, the name on the door, and something shifted in her face. I think it was the first time she had actually seen what I had built. Not heard about it. Seen it. She said she was sorry. She said she had let my sister define how the family saw me for years, and she had told herself it was just keeping the peace and that I was fine and that I didn't need what my sister needed. She said she had been wrong and that she had known for a while and hadn't done anything about it. She didn't make excuses. That was the part that surprised me. I told her I heard her. I told her I wasn't going to chase the family anymore. That I was not cutting anyone off, but I was done being the one who reached out. If they wanted to be in my life, they could come toward me like equals and I would meet them there. She nodded. She didn't argue. We sat in the studio for a while after that, and I showed her some of my work. She asked questions she had never asked before. We didn't fix anything, but it was the most honest conversation we had ever had, and that was something.
Well, she actually screamed in front of 400 people. The sister of the box realized she was cut out of millions in the room, found that she lies to her family. The hunter one got husband, and the whole reception just fell apart. That's a what I call Eastern karma. But now the drama is hitting closer to home. Opie's mom just flew all the way to LA and showed up at her studio, crying and apologizing. It is the real chains apart, or is it just rocked by only success? Let's get into the final of that to see how this incredible story wrap up.
Update 2. For now, a few things have settled, and I want to close this out properly as my sister and her husband are still together, from what I can tell. The honeymoon happened eventually, about 3 weeks late. I don't know the details of what they worked through, and I haven't asked. That is their marriage, and I have no part in it. Yet my sister has not contacted me. My grandma's jewelry collection is currently on partial loan to a local museum. There's a small display, 6 pieces, the ones with the most history, with a card that explains where they came from and who my grandma was. I arranged it quietly over the last few months. It felt like the right way to honor her. Not keeping everything locked away, not selling anything. Just letting people see it, as my dad called me once, about 2 weeks after everything. It was a short call. He said he had not handled things well over the years and that he wasn't sure what to do with that, but he wanted me to know he knew. I said okay. We haven't spoken since, but the call was different from any call we had had before, and I've been sitting with that as I have been thinking. About my grandma a lot lately. She gave me a camera when I was 10 years old because she noticed something nobody else was paying attention to. She didn't make a big announcement about it. She just showed up with a cake in a box and a quiet certainty that I was worth seeing. I built Everlight Studios because of that camera. Not directly, not in a straight line, but because of what it meant to be seen by someone who didn't need me to be anything other than what I already was. She left me to $0.3 million worth of jewelry. What she actually left me was 20 years of being the person who looked. That is what I keep coming back to. I'm not angry at my family in the way I used to be. Something shifted when I stood in that lobby watching my mom look at my name on the door. I think what shifted was that I stopped needing them to understand. I have a studio. I have work I believe in. I have people who see me clearly. The rest is theirs to figure out, not the asshole. But more than that, I think the question of whether I was the asshole stopped being the point somewhere around the moment I realized I had built something real out of a dented second hand. Camera and the attention of one person who thought I was worth noticing. That was always enough. I just had to get far enough away to see it's too long. Didn't read. Sister and husband eventually went on honeymoon, still together as far as I know. My sister hasn't contacted me. Dad called once, short and different from before. Grandma's jewelry is on loan to a museum in her name. Mom visited the studio and we had the most honest conversation we've ever had. I told her I'm not chasing anymore. If they want to be in my life, they come as equals. Everlight Studios just signed a new contract. The camera my grandma gave me when I was 10 is still on the shelf. That's the whole story.
Wow, that's really taking its beautiful ending. My stepmom left me $2.3 million worth of cherry. What she actually left me was 20 years of being the person who looked. I have literal goosebump right now. That is so irrelevant. Olivia took that inheritance and loaned into a museum to honor her grandma. That's a poor glass. And I love the watery she said with her mom. No more chasing. If you want to be in my life, we meet as equals. Yes, Queen. The dot accounts admits him myself. The toxic sister in death silence and OP just rambling in LA with a successful studio and the people who strongly see her. That dentist secondhand camera her grandma gave her at 10 years old is still on the shelf, reminding her that she was always worth noticing. But back on rescue, I have to ask you, would you have trumped a silver box at the wedding or were it too dramatic? And do you think the mom's apology at the studio were genuine? Drop your comments. I need to read your text. If this story touched your heart, please smash as liar and subscribe to welcome review this story. Drop your old core, carry the one who truly seek you, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.